Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. Let's get to the runes right away to see what they have to tell us. Hope everyone's doing well. I know in the northern... Hold on. Ooh, we got quite a few runes today. So I know that in the northern hemisphere it's getting quite cold. So I hope everyone is okay and enjoying the cool weather as much as we can, I guess, right? All right, getting to the runes. Ooh, we have Urus coming first, which is the rune of strength. Of course, in the tarot, I do associate this with the strength card because it's very similar to me to the rune of strength. It's not about brute strength or having physical strength. But to me, Urus is very much about an inner strength. Very much like the tarot card, we usually have a person taming a lion. They're not fighting the lion. There's no force behind it. It's really more of a compassion. It's really more of patience. And I think there's a lot of strength behind patience when sometimes we're being tested. And you just want to grab someone and shake them up and go, do you not see this? How do you not understand? Kind of thing. We can't always do that. So I do think that there's big strength in patience. And I feel like we do need patience coming forward because we have the rune of Thorisas. And this is basically the rune of Thor fighting the giants. And actually, this is really an interesting rune coming up right now for us because I was just thinking about this rune the other day. Because we have some giants coming up. And when I say giants, I don't mean that in a nice way. I don't mean giants or geniuses of tech or geniuses of electronic cars or geniuses of social media, if you're catching what I'm saying. What I do mean about giants is in Norse mythology, for example, giants tend to be this chaotic force. Well, talk about strength here as a chaotic force that is against order. You know what I mean? Is against when I say order, I don't mean order created by society, created by humans. I mean the order of nature, the laws of nature kind of thing. To me, Thor, he is the god of weather. He's the god of thunder and lightning, as we know. But more than that, he's a god of fertility. He's a god of the weather and nature. He does control the weather in some ways, which links him to patterns of nature, to the laws of nature. And the giants are very much against that, as we are seeing in the media right now, especially a certain salute that happened, which is very worrying. That goes against the law of nature. The law of nature is cyclical. It's a circle, and there's no hierarchy in a circle. Everyone is equal, everything is equal, and everything happens within the laws of nature. And breaking someone's autonomy, breaking someone's sovereignty, in my opinion, goes against the laws of nature. We have Isa coming through, which this is the rune of identity. This is the rune of the ego, of the self. Now, when I say ego, I learned this recently, actually. I did not know this, but I learned this a few months ago, that ego is actually the Latin word for I. You know, in Spanish is yo, in Portuguese is eu. So however I is in your language, ego is Latin for I. So I love that Isa is I. Literally, it's just an I, which is the rune for identity, the rune for the self, the rune for the ego. Now, when I say ego, I think a lot of us equate ego with narcissism. We equate ego with egoism, right? The word egoism, and it's someone who's selfish, and it's all about me, and I'm egoic, Talk about these giants, right? Doesn't get more egoic and toxic masculinity than this, than the giants we're talking about. But now the runes are kind of touching us on a very individual level, because it's asking us who we are deep down. Now I'm going to jump to the next rune right now, which is Tiwaz, which is the rune for justice. It is the rune of the Lord, of the god Tyr, and actually Tyr translates to God. You know, in my opinion, of course, I think some Norse pagans perhaps will disagree, but Tyr was like the original sky god before Odin. You know, before historic events and mythology shifted things, and Odin kind of became the sky god and the Allfather. But Tyr was the original. Now Tyr, if we can equate, of course I'm just doing like a little parallel here, but it's not equal, but there's a parallel, in my opinion, Tyr to the Egyptian Ma'at. So if you guys heard of Ma'at, the feather, Ma'at is all about justice, all about bringing equilibrium and balance. So Tyr brings balance to Thorisas. Tyr is, again, the laws of nature. And we got Isa right in the center here between these two. So we have Isa right in between these runes, which is the identity. So we are between the destructions of the natural cycles and the justice and the balance and the equilibrium that nature itself will bring through. Now, this doesn't devalue us, because yes, nature, the universe, will take its course. But in the meantime, it's really asking us who we are in the middle of all of this. And in my opinion, I would say to be in the right side of history, in the side of equality, in the side of the circle, that everyone is welcome. Well, bigotry and racism are not welcome. But to believe that everyone has sovereignty, that everyone has a right to live, to support each other, to be happy, to support their families. To me, that's justice. To me, that's the part of the circle. Live and let live, right? So those are the runes. Let's see what the cards have in store for us. Hold on. Okay. So we're starting with the 7 of discs. Then we go into the 6 of wands. Then we go into the Ace of discs. So there seems to be a dismantling here. What I say that is, we started with 7, then 6, then 1. There is I think last reading we got the rune of Hagal or Hagalas, which is destruction, and that's the theme that's kind of coming through here. 7s go to 6s, go to 1. That's what I wanted to say, is a stripping down to the bare minimum. To the essentials, that's what I mean. It's a stripping down to the essentials. Look, we have the circle again, right? We're talking about the circle here, and then the cards, the universe gave us the circle. That element of unity. So what I'm seeing here with the 7 of Pentacles is that everyone is kind of in their own little world. Everyone is in their own circle of friends. But here's the thing. Those of us that can travel between the discs, the worlds, for example, we have a broad view of people. We have a broad view of society. We understand and we actually welcome different points of views. We welcome different cultures, different people, different beliefs, because we understand that it doesn't change who we are. It actually enriches us. Going back to Isa, on an individual level, learning about different people and different cultures and different beliefs helps us strengthen who we are as an individual. So the 6 of Wands generally is a card of victory. The 6s are a very harmonious number. And when it comes to the ones, they're all about fire and will and drive. So there's a harmonious drive on the ego. Going back to Esau, there is a harmonious drive on the self. So if we remain in one disc, I'm really being drawn to this one in the center because I feel like this foliage here is almost like protecting it. If we stay too long and too rigid in one circle, it creates what we're seeing right now in the world. It creates a distorted view of humanity. It creates a very, very narcissistic and egoic and destructive identity, where bringing harmony, it's funny, I just pulled this one and I'm talking about the 7th here, but then we have these 6s going into the 6 of Wands, and I'm almost seeing the center here, and it's almost like these corners are being like pulled together to the center, to the core of who we are, turning into the circle, a harmonious circle where we all can live. I think this is a really beautiful sentiment, and I think it can be true. I think it is true. But we're letting ourselves be angry. We're letting ourselves already be defeated. What if Rosa Parks had never sat down and demanded to sit down? What if Martin Luther King never had a dream? What I'm trying to say here is that everyone has a right to stand up to themselves. Everyone has a right to stand up to their community and to who they believe in, because we're all a community. And I know that there's open-mindedness out there. I know there is inclusion. I know there's love out there for all peoples. So we get to bring it down. I do want to show now on the Tree of Life. Here's the Tree of Life, the Kabbalah Tree of Life. And when we're dealing with the aces, we're actually dealing with the very top Sephira here, which is actually source. This, right? I mean, it's all God, right? In my opinion, it's all God. But here at the very top is where the aces live, is where the seed is planted. All of this down here, and this sphere down here is our world. It's meant to represent Earth, the world we can see, we can touch, we can feel, where all our senses come alive. Now, we talked about a dismantling, right? A peeling away to the source. Going upwards, this is source. Everything is source. Everything is energy. Everything is equal in my eyes. So when we're up here in consciousness, we're actually dealing with unity consciousness. We're actually dealing with the fact that we all came from the same spiritual sphere, from the same spiritual seed. So it doesn't really change that much. The differences that we see here on Earth are all illusions. They're illusionary. They're not the real truth of who we are as spiritual beings. All right, so let's pull a final card for today. Oh, thank you for that. We have manifest. I love this image. Actually, it's just like a little witch kind of walking into fall, into the autumn. And to me, I like autumn weather. I like the cool weather. And I love that she's walking forward. It's a manifestation, right? It's a manifestation of the path. It's a manifestation of this unity consciousness, and a manifestation of the laws of nature and justice playing out. But they also need us, or I, to play in nature. See, I love that all the leaves here of fall. To me, there is an energy of earth welcoming us in. If only we would listen, right? I can't imagine why it's such a radical idea to want to protect the only home we have, to protect the only resources we have. Everything, no matter how electronic it is, it has its roots in nature, right? I know paper is not very technological, but paper comes from trees, right? I'm staring at my phone right now, and the screen is made of, I believe, cobalt. Cobalt comes from the earth. So in a way, your phone is a crystal. What I'm saying is, no matter how metal and technological and cold some of our stuff that we own may seem, it has been manifested and given to us by Mother Nature, by Earth at some point. We have just kind of modified it and processed it so much that it's become cold steel. But everything comes from Earth, and we get to manifest the life we want on Earth together. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you guys next time.